Welcome back, folks. I'm glad you're still with me. I have imported the CSV files as mentioned in the blog, and that got added as JSON document objects in my movies collection. Now, to create this program, the prerequisites are Java Development Kit, Eclipse IDE, and MongoDB Community Server. On Eclipse, I'm going to create a new Maven project and call it, let's say, maybe Migrate to Mongo. A new project. Click on Maven project. Create a simple project. And I'm going to call this Migrate to Mongo. Keep the same as the artifact ID. And that should be it. This is our Migrate to Mongo project right here. And in our newly created POM file, we need to add some dependencies. Just going to copy paste some of them here. Now, since it's not an RDBMS, it does not use JDBC driver to connect to the database. We need to sync our application with the MongoDB driver from the Maven repository. I'll add the link to the repository in the description below. We will need these Jackson Core and DataBind dependencies to convert BSON objects to JSON readable objects. So first, just going to save this. Right. Now, the first thing is we need to create a Java class. And we will call this MongoDB driver. In this class, first I'll use a string that represents a database connection URI to connect to the MongoDB server. So string URI equal to, I have my MongoDB cluster details here. Just going to copy paste my URI link. There you go. And let's make this private static final. The Mongo client is what we need next, and that's used to make a connection with the MongoDB server and to perform some database related operations. So let's call it Mongo client. We connect to Mongo client to add this. Now let's create a Mongo collection document, call it movies. Import Mongo collection, import document, BSON. I need to create a method to connect to the database and the collection movies. Public void connect. Mongo client. You have to get the URI, so Mongo clients.create. Create. You get the URI. Now from the client, let's get the database and the collection name. Get database. Tinseltown. Get collection. Movies. I need to add this to movies. Next, let's add a new class to this. The default package, a new class, call it MongoDB app. And we need a public static void in that. So in this app, I'll just first create a MongoDB driver object and use it to call the connect method. Driver and call it Mongo. New MongoDB and connect it. Now to display all movies, I'm going to create a print all method. Keep it private static. Now when you call this print all method, we need a list of all the movies in the collection. So we need to create, let's say, a get all method. We can do that in our Mongo driver and then call this in the app. Public find iterable. Now this is an interface that sets a document describing the fields to return for all matching documents. So document, we call it get all. And we need to import find iterable. Use find document, call it document music collection movies dot find. And then we return the document. And in our print all method, we will call the get all method from our Mongo driver. Now let's create a for loop to iterate through the documents. String. We call it, I'll call this input JSON. And all movies dot to JSON, because they would be based on JSON files. And we need to output this on the console. New JSON object, input JSON, pass the input JSON to the new JSON object, convert this to string. Let's put this 4. I've copied the display menu method from the movie management system program and I've made some additions to it. So now the user can exit by selecting the number 6 instead of 5. So I got scan here, so I need to add a scanner. Let me just add a scanner right at the top and call it scan. So I can use it in all other methods. You can see some of the changes that I've made. Number 5 is now print all movies in the collection. Number 6 to exit. The next method adds new movies to the database. These lines of code to receive the input from the user, and the query that I've created here retrieves the information and adds it to the document, and then I use the command insert1 to add the documents to the movies collection. I'm checking here if the document is not empty, that means the movie has been added to the database, and using Mongo exception to catch any errors. The next method is to generate random movies. And here I've used aggregate iterable. Now this is an interface that aggregates the documents to the specified aggregation pipeline that's mentioned here. And then we get this into run movies, and we iterate through the run movies and convert them into JSON objects to print. And finally, a method that deletes the movie using a movie ID. This method uses an abstract class that shows the result of the delete operation. It's called delete result. Another method I forgot to add was the method to print all movies in a specific year. Let me see if I can probably add it somewhere there. Here I'll use the find method to retrieve all movies in the collection with the input year as the key value, and then load them into an array list. Then we'll iterate through the collection and display all the documents in the proper JSON format. Okay, now let's run this application. Oh, before that, we need to call these methods, and when the user makes a selection, so go right up there, and we'll add the selection here in the main method. So in selection, to display the menu method, and selection, if it's not equal to 6, switch to case 1, adds the movie, case 2, print movies in the year, case 3, print random movies, case 4, delete a movie and print all, and case 6 comes out of the program. Now let's run this program. Okay, the menu has been displayed, so we'll select the option 1. Since I'm a war movie buff, let's enter a movie title, Three Kings. Duration, 114 minutes. Movie ID, 504, and was released in the year 1999. The movie is added to the database. Let's take a look at the database. If it's been added, just going to refresh this. And let's do a search for Three Kings. It's been added. Now, let's try the second option to retrieve a movie. Let's say 1997. And we got a list of movies that was released in 1997. All come in nice JSON format. Option number 3, retrieve the list of random movies. Let's say I want to see 10 movies. You got all 10 displayed. And they're all random. 1986, 2003, 1994, Pulp Fiction. All right. Let's go. Let's say number 4, we'll delete a movie. Let's enter the ID that we want to delete. The one that we created was 504 Three Kings. So I'm just going to delete that movie. 504. And the movie has been deleted. Just going to double check in my thing if it still exists. Find, no results. It's been deleted. Print all movies in the collection. If I press number 5, it's going to be a huge list of all the movies that's there in my collection. And number 6 exits out of the program. Thank you for watching.